Hey guys, Angry MGTOW here. And hating and fearing women gets men nowhere. That's the topic of today's video. And this isn't the first time I've made a video like this. If you go back to earlier points on the channel, when I first launched the channel, I have videos that literally discuss why hating women doesn't help men, why being angry at women doesn't help men. And I've actually put these videos out there, but people somehow overlooked them based on a lot of the other videos that I made where I talked critically about women. So today we're going to discuss how hating and fearing women gets men nowhere. I'm going to go ahead and play the intro for you guys because you are babies about it. And when I don't play it, you complain. Let's try that again. Alrighty, so there you guys go. You got your intro. You got your fucking intro. Oh man, you know something funny? I'm using OBS and the menu options just literally changed on me. I was using the 32-bit version. Now I'm using the 64-bit version, and I think 64-bit version is working better on my computer. But the menu options, they've changed slightly the positioning. But anyway, hating and fearing women gets men nowhere, and a lot of guys are probably going to give me flack for saying this. A lot of guys are still picking at me because of the whole roaming millennial conversation, which wasn't an interview, it wasn't a debate, it was just us having a conversation. Michelle Langley's book Female Identify recommends that everyone reads inclusive. It's a comment made by Pedro Wanzio. I mean, guys, at the end of the day, you have to really think about what it is you want in life. And for many of us, we've gone our own way and we're focusing on ourselves, our passion, our own happiness. Being a MGTOW is about not getting married, not having children, and focusing on yourself and your own passion. It doesn't have anything to do with hating women or being angry at women. In fact, one of the tenets of MGTOW is that being hating women all the time is a horrible thing. Hate is a problem because if you're hating someone, then you may actually still be in love with them. I try to be angry about the things that women have done in society, but at the same time, I've always tried not to be angry at women specifically, because you can begin to develop an obsession and then an infatuation with the thing that you are constantly thinking about. With that said, I recently come to realize that it goes even further, and men have to really understand how dangerous it is to spend all your time hating women or being angry at them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be angry at the things women do. I'm not saying that you don't have a right to be angry at women in general. But what I am saying is that it's not helping you as a man. It hurts you more than anything else. You spend all your time obsessing over women, thinking about them. When you're always angry at a woman, you're going to spend all your time thinking about how much of they're a narcissistic cunt. You're gonna let them affect and control your life. There's a lot of MGTOWs who will cross the street if they see a woman coming in their direction. I mean, if you talk about control, letting people control you, if you have to cross the street to avoid a woman because you don't want to walk on the same sidewalk as her, that is controlling your life. There are a lot of MGTOWs who will go into a supermarket, go into a grocery store, and if there's a woman standing at the counter, they will actually leave. If there is a female cashier, they will actually leave. This is some of the things that we have in MGTOW. That's letting a woman control your life. And I understand exactly why men would be afraid of women. I understand exactly why men would have hate towards women. But that hate and that anger, if you let it control you, then you lose everything. You lose yourself. Anger is the first step before analysis and then application. But you can't stay in the anger phase. If you're constantly in the anger phase, you don't get anywhere. I like to joke that I'm always angry, but I'm always analyzing, and I'm passionate about the videos that I make. I call women out on the things that they've done, but increasingly I'm realizing that, like children, you can't really expect much more. What we really have to be focusing on is the manginas that put women into power, that allow them and enable them. Women are very much like children. At the same time, you do have to hold women accountable for the things that they've done. Just like you would hold a child accountable for the things that they do. I mean, even in society, when children who commit murder are more likely to get, children who commit murder will likely get more time in jail than a woman most these days. A woman kills a man, she'll probably get something like maybe 3 or 4 years, if that. In many cases, especially if she's a beautiful woman. A child kills an adult, they may get life in prison. Or they may get 20 years, but they're going to jail. Even younger women, even young girls, are more likely to get more time in jail than fully grown women. Because fully grown women now have the capacity to have children. Isn't that interesting? So while young girls simply only have the potential. Just don't forget that more children drowned on the Titanic than women. I'm not turning against MGTOW. I'm not arguing about MGTOW. I'm not saying MGTOWs don't have a right to feel how they want. I think it's vital that MGTOWs express their feelings. I think it's vital that MGTOWs are allowed to feel the hatred and anger that has been bottled up for so long. But staying in that hateful and angry phase all the time doesn't work. And when you get to the point where you have to cross to the other side of the road if you're walking next to a woman, that's controlling your life. I understand every reason why men would be afraid of women. After all the things that I've done, I had the conversation with Roaming Millennial, and she said she didn't think things were as bad as I made them out to be between men and women. And I think that she underestimates how bad relationships are between men and women, because she was basing her beliefs on her personal experiences with men in her life. The relationship between men and women is horrible today. And women very much are to blame for that. But at the same time, I realized that a lot of the culture that women have been fed is also a big reason why they are like that today. Women have always wanted a man who had resources, but this type of woman that we have today is an extreme narcissist. I mean, they're somewhere between borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. That's the modern woman for you. Regardless of this, if you spend all your time trying to avoid women, trying to go to extremes to put them out of your life, it doesn't improve your quality of life. I mean, I basically did just that. I became a MGTOW monk, and I isolated myself because, women are everywhere. So this means I didn't go out. I didn't leave my home very often for months, for years. I secluded myself. I avoided having almost any conversations or interactions with women. I watched everything I said around them. I mean, I was constantly being careful. And it fucked with my life, it fucked with my head. And I don't want that for a lot of guys, but there's a lot of guys who, I understand where you're coming from, because you're not wrong about the way men have been treated. You're not wrong about all the shit that's happening to men. You're not wrong at all. What I'm trying to tell you, though, is that sitting in hatred and fear, it doesn't help your life. It only makes it worse. It only brings down your quality of life. If you want a better quality of life, it's important to focus on yourself and your own happiness. But if you're constantly angry, feeling hatred, or fearful of women, then you won't be able to truly focus on the things that make you happy, because you're always going to be in danger mode. of avoid them, of be cautious. The truth is, I'm beginning to learn more how to just navigate through life and say fuck it. If shit happens, it happens. We're not going as a man. We are not going to go through life without getting a few scars. And let me tell you something funny about women. You can do everything you possibly can to avoid them, to avoid having any altercations with them. And you will still end up having problems with them. Even when you go to great lengths to avoid them entirely, you will still end up having issues with them the very few times you actually have to interact with them. That's just how life is. That's just how women are. The irony is that you can have you can interact very little with women, and the one or two times that you have interactions, something could go wrong. She could make an accusation against you. Some shit could happen. Something unjust. But then 99% of the time, that doesn't happen. But because it happened, among the very few times that you do interact with women, you basically say that chances are it'll happen in most cases based on experience, because that's how our subconscious works. Our subconscious takes information, it bases around our previous experiences, and then our conscious brain pulls from that, and then we make decisions based around that. So for example, our conscious brain says, well, the few experiences you've had with women have been all negative. So if they've all been negative, then chances are all relationships with women are going to be negative. Even if 99% of the relationships you have with women, if you have, 99 out of 100, aren't negative. It's because of modern day narcissism among women why we have the problems we have. But it doesn't change the fact that it's up to us to solve it in our lives. And I talk about the all male utopia. That shit's not going to happen in our lifetime. Unless there's some type of genocide, which I'm not praying for. Women aren't going to go away in our lifetime. So we have to either make up our minds. We either have to find a way to work with them or around them. But there's not going to be a situation where they just won't be here. We can say, well, we have to figure out how to control them. We have to figure out if we can work with them. We have to figure out if we can work around them. But they're not going anywhere anytime soon. It's something that we have to come to grips with. I have to come to grips with it. We all have to come to grips with it. Women aren't disappearing anytime soon. They're not just going to vanish. They're not just going to vanish. They're half the population, and I hate when people say, oh, well, they're half the population, like it means they deserve some special type of status for being half the population, but they make up half the people on Earth. Half the people on Earth are just going to vanish. They're not. Do I have a lot of anger and pain and resentment towards women? Yeah, I do. Tons. Tons. You guys think that when I sat with Roaming Millennial, I felt great about the way I spoke to her? Listen to me. I would have loved to have been able to, been a little bit more assertive, but if you guys had no idea what happened in the background, you don't know how difficult it was just to actually get her back on the stream. Honestly, I think that Roaming is, and I'm not insulting her, I think she's a little timid. I think that if you attack her, like if you guys listen to the very first stream, when I was attacking her, she was in attack mode. And she started to even ramble a little bit. No one seemed to have noticed that though, because they were focused on the fact that I didn't go after her properly. I didn't call her out on her bullshit properly. Guys, I don't think you realize that society has empowered women to behave badly, but by their own core nature, women submit to men. Women know that men are stronger than they are. When it came to Roaming, the approach I had to take with her was one where I had to come at her from a position where I wasn't attacking her. Did I feel like I used kid gloves? I did a little bit with her. And I did that because I had to. At the end of the day, I know I'm a man. I know I can yell, but that did not work with her. And it's not going to work with all women. You have to understand that women are shaped by their cultures. Yes, there's such a thing as female nature. But women are shaped by their culture. Culture is a big shaper of the way women behave and the way women think. So we can all say that all women have a specific nature, but not all women are exactly 100% the same. There are a lot of women who resent other women. Resent. In fact, there are many women who will watch other women die. If you've been watching Trump's administration, Omarosa, Kellyanne Conway, Nikki Haley, these are just a couple of the names of women who are in Donald Trump's administration who are all very anti-feminist. And they are resentful of feminists. Resentful. Omarosa. She is, people will remember her as a supervillain as she was described from the first season of The Apprentice with Donald Trump. And then she went on to become a very good friend of Donald Trump. And she was on The View recently. And, she literally attacked Joy Behar, who is one of the hosts on The View. And a longtime host. And, they had a really big fight. Because at the end of the day, Joy was bringing up tons of ad hominems and all of this crap to go after President Trump, when in reality she had nothing to back up her arguments. And something that Omarosa brought up is that she grew up on Section 8. She was raised on welfare. She lived in the projects in government housing. And then she came through that, went to Howard University, and went and got her bachelor's and then her doctorate in political science. Ben Carson is the exact same. I mean, if you look, Nikki Haley, she was the first, Nikki Haley, let me double check. She was the very first governor of South Carolina, female governor of South Carolina. Let me correct myself. Not the first governor of South Carolina, but she was the very first female governor of South Carolina. And people never thought she would win. And now she's the current United States ambassador to the United Nations. She's actually an Indian American. And she is staunchly against feminism. Kellyanne Conway, she calls herself a post-feminist. All of these women are post-feminist. And if you don't realize, they hate feminism very much because they had to work hard in their lives to get to where they got. They didn't get handouts. They did not get handouts, especially when they were representing a Republican ticket. Conservatives tend to look at women at what you can do for us, not what we can, not how much, not how much you're suffering, not how much of a victim you are. Times are changing, but there's going to be so many guys that are not going to be able to change with the times because of the anger inside of them. And they have every right. Men have every right to feel the way they do. I can't tell a guy not to be angry with the way men have been treated by women. I'm still angry. But it doesn't do me any good. And it's not going to do you any good to keep on being angry like this forever. You use anger to forge a path forward. That's how I use anger. But I don't want to be angry for the rest of my life. I use anger to remain aware so that I'm not entirely passive like some men have become. Some men have kind of just given up on life, like, I'm a little yellow, like they're just going with the flow of things, like, yeah, bro, and I just jerked off, and then I had this 40, And yeah, man, it's the life. It's the life. That's not if that's how you want to live that way. But I want more from life. And I realize that you have to you're as men we are always going to have scars, and we're always going to have to put up with women, at least in our generation. They're not going anywhere. So we have to either puff our chest out and stand up to them. That's what I'm doing now. I'm not putting myself in dangerous situations with them, but I'm also not going to allow them to control my life. I'm not going to let them control where I go anymore. If I want to go out to a bar or to a club or just to relax somewhere because women are there. I'm not going to spend all my time being afraid to have to interact with them because something bad may happen. I just don't have the time for it. MGTOW is becoming a safe space, and I'm partially to blame for that. I can't say I'm not, because I've made it very much into a safe space. I've been hiding in my safe space, and I've been telling men, wrap yourself in a blanket, in a MGTOW blanket of content, so that none of the bad things will get in, and you can be dragged out of a safe space, my friends. You can be dragged out of a safe space. There's no such thing as a safe space, because you can be dragged out kicking and screaming, and the world can come in at any time. You're not safe no matter where you go. MGTOW is an ideology of how to live your life and how to enrich your life. But it won't protect you from all the bad things of the world. It won't protect you from having bad interactions with women, or having women, or having bullshit, going through bullshit with them. It won't. And if you try to begin framing too much of your own persona based on what it means to be a MGTOW, you get lost in your own ideologies. Not the ideologies of MGTOW, you get lost in your own ideologies as you start to make shit up as you go along because you feel safer that way. And you'll find men who gravitate to the same things that you do, to the same behavioral patterns that you do, saying, hey, it's better to live in solitude. It's better to avoid women. It's better to stay away from them. But it doesn't make you right. I have this guy named MGTOW Police who I might put a video out about, and this guy's attacking me because he's saying MGTOW is not an ideology. It's a movement. MGTOW is an ideology. It's a core set of ideas, characteristics that we look at and that we use as a framework for our lives. MGTOW is not designed to control our lives. It's just some basic principles that we choose to live by. Notice the key word is we choose to live by. Choose to live by. At the same time, you don't actually have to live the MGTOW ideology to also understand the benefits of the MGTOW ideology. The straight shooter is one of the greatest guys I know. He's a married man, and he is awakened. He understands MGTOW very well, better than a lot of the so-called men going their own way in this community. He's awakened to the bullshit. He's awakened to the situation that he's in, but he doesn't, being a married man. But at the same time, he doesn't let it control his life. I don't have time for this shit anymore. I don't. I'm 33. I'll be 34 this year. I don't have time for this shit. And if men want to sit around wasting their time, hiding in their safe spaces, saying, fearful of women, do it. You're absolutely right. You could end up in jail. You can go out tomorrow, have a conversation with a woman. She could say that you tried to rape her. Hell, she could say you did rape her. Maybe you end up in jail. Again, guys, you're creating this stuff in your head. Chances are it won't happen like that. Even though it does happen, chances are it won't happen. But if you want to keep living that way, hoping that you'll get fewer scars, imagine when you get to 99. Let's say you make it to 99 years old. You make it to 99, and guess what? Now you're gonna die. You're close to death, but you made it this far. You didn't end up in jail for rape on false rape charges, but you also didn't fuck that many women. You didn't fuck any women. You you didn't have too many problems in life with women, but you didn't have many interactions with them. You avoided spaces that they congregate in, which is pretty much most spaces. And now you're 99, and you've avoided getting as many scars as you possibly can, and you're gonna die with fewer scars. I mean, how? What kind? That's no way to. If that's the way you want to live, hoping to get as few scars as possible in life, then go for it. But the thing is that you get scars in life, but you also get experiences, and sometimes to gain those great experiences, you also have to risk getting a scar. No man will walk through this world without getting a few scars. No man. That's the fate of being a man. From the day you were born, you are going to struggle. You are going to have it harder than any woman. You're going to have to fight for your survival from the moment you are born. You're not going to get special treatment. If anything, the world will start cutting you to pieces. It's not easy being a man, but you have to stand up for yourself, and you have to go forward, and you have to push forward. And you can't let fear control you. You can't let fear control you. You use MGTOW as an ideology. You don't let it control your life. You don't let it control your life. You don't let it control your relationships. You decide your path. You decide the path you want to take. You make the choices that you want to make. You decide the life that you want to live. MGTOW doesn't control you. MGTOW is just a basic philosophy. And that's all that it is. Hating and fearing women gets men nowhere. And I'm looking at the dislikes right now, and there are 9 dislikes and 7 likes, and most of those are from my subscribers because they hate what I'm saying. They don't agree with me. There's a lot of people who don't agree with me. They think that I'm going soft. I'm going soft on women because I got a little bit of pussy, and now I'm going soft. Nah. I'm being realistic. I'm not saying women get a free pass. I'm not saying women haven't done things and continue to do things that destroy our lives. All I'm saying is that spending your life, wasting your life hating women gets you nowhere. Fearing women gets you nowhere. It does way more harm to you than it does to them. So if you support my message, if you agree with me that hating women, fearing women gets men nowhere, and it's more vital and critical for men to instead focus on themselves, their happiness, their wants, their needs, and walk through life with their heads held high. Take chances, take risks, make mistakes, but realize that it doesn't matter if you're hiding in your safe space or if you're out in public, you can still get fucked over. So why not take those chances and live life to the fullest until it comes to an end? Let me know if you agree with the points that I'm making in the comment section. Jetsu Ma says, we can't help angry MGTOW anymore. No, I think that you are beyond the point where you can be helped at this point. Because you don't want to change. You don't want to open your mind to anything beyond the very notion of avoidance. You have the right to have nothing to do with a woman. You have absolutely the right to do that. You have the right to hate. You have the right to fear. You have the right to do anything. But don't think you're going to have a better quality of life if you do these things. I'm talking about the reasons why they affect you so poorly. Hating women, fearing them gets you nowhere. And I know Sabella Shepherd is in the comments. You know, Sabella is such a little snake. Well, if we are being fair, you are being soft on women, other than me, of course, which is funny. Sabella, you know, like I said, Sabella is in this male space, and, you know, she is one of the few women that have been allowed to tolerate it in here. But at the same time, she says I'm being too soft on women. I'm not being too soft. I am not being too soft. I already know I'm a man. I'm a man. I don't need to yell at a woman to feel like I'm strong and powerful anymore. I used to do that. I don't need to. If I need to assert myself to a woman, I will. But at the same time, I don't have to get myself worked up anymore. It's not necessary. I'm becoming more and more confident who I am every single day. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. So let me know if you agree with what I've said, that hating and fearing women gets men nowhere. And I see people saying, I'm going to unsubscribe. Then fuck that. Go unsubscribe. Find someone else. Because anyone else is going to tell you either something similar or they're going to be just really angry cocksuckers who are basically spouting off shit and then they'll disappear on you. I'm one of the few MGTOWs that's consistent, and I'm real and I'm honest. You know, when I went out and I fucked a hooker for the first time in a bunch of years, I told you guys. I made a video. I could have put it on my personal channel. I didn't. I put it on this channel. I've been transparent with you guys. I don't pretend to be anything or anyone I'm not. And I've made it very clear that I'm constantly changing my perspective. I'm constantly growing, evolving, becoming someone new. I'm not going to be the same person I was yesterday. I'm growing as a person. I'm not always going to be right. And being right and wrong, that's subjective. In many ways, it's situational. What's one person's right is another person's wrong. Again, I learn as I go along. Life is one big stage for learning. That's what life is. I don't have time to sit in an echo chamber. My life is short. I would like to get the most out of it. I'd like to experience the most of it. And hating women and fearing women, for me, it has only been holding me back. If you want to spend all your time doing that, do it. Because I am not saying that there's not things that women have not done. I'm not disputing anything about modern day feminism. I'm not disputing any of that crap. I'm not telling you to go out and have dates. I'm just telling you that hating and fearing, it destroys you and it destroys your quality of life. It restricts your freedoms. It puts you in a box and it keeps you there. But the men who want to live that way, the men who want to stay in that echo chamber, you can stay there. Stay in the echo chamber and see what it does for you. It'll just bring down your quality of life and you'll start to go insane. Looking at a comment that Steve says, Angry MGTOW, we can't let the pain of our past ruin our future of happiness. Guys, I'll tell you something funny. I was going to go do an activity not too long ago. And while I'm, sitting in the car, I was taking a cab ride, and while I'm on my way, I start thinking about my mother and my father. And I start thinking about all the shit that happened in my life and how my mother didn't really love me not the way I needed, and how she would easily throw me away. And how my father gave up on me. And I started wishing things could be different. And it began to hurt. It began to really, really hurt. And then I realized I can't change it. And then I realized I can't let the pain of the past ruin my future of happiness. I can't let it ruin my happiness right now. I can't, or else I have nothing. And those things will continue to haunt me. The only thing I can do is create new memories. The only thing I can do is live the best quality of life I possibly can until I can't anymore. The only thing I can do is push forward and forge a new path forward. And keep moving forward for as long as I can. That's all I can do. I can't change the past. None of us can change the past. And so many of us are stuck in the past. And I know it's PTSD. I know it's PTSD, guys. I have PTSD. I take Prozac for PTSD. I relive all that shit. And I know a lot of you guys relive it too. I know a lot of you guys relive the pain and the suffering. And I know a lot of you guys have seen some shit that others wouldn't believe. Or you're resentful, or you're angry, or you're hurt. It could be a mother. A lot of times it is our mothers, or it's a combination of our mothers and a girlfriend, or whatever. Just society, of just seeing what society has devolved into and what women have become, especially in the West. And you look at it and you become shocked by it, and you want to have no part of it. I get that. But if you allow it to control you, then you will not live your life. This is not living. You can be alive and still dead inside. I was like that for a very long time, and I don't want to live like that anymore, where I'm like the walking dead. The only way to live life is to have new experiences. The only way to live life is to experience life, not hide away. Not hide away from the potentially bad experiences, because you'll also miss the good ones. And sometimes it's through the bad ones that you find good ones, and discover new things. That's how life is. You can't hide away from life because it will find you. And like I said, when you're 99, let's say you make it without too many scars on you. Let's say you make it to 99 and you've made it and you haven't gone to jail, you haven't had any real problems with women in your life. What the fuck are you celebrating? What do you have to show for your lifetime? Were you happy? Were you happy? Tell me, were you happy? What have you done? You avoided experiences, you avoided new things because you feared the outcome. By not having children, by not getting married, by focusing on yourself, these specific things help to protect you, help to guide your life forward, and reduce the risk that you'll actually find yourself in a situation where you can be victimized. But when you get to the point of saying, I just don't want to have anything to do with a woman at all, and I despise them and I resent them, that's when you're allowing them to not only control you, but that's when you're also allowing your emotions to control you. And you're no longer seeing reality firmly anymore. See, Lewis Nunes says Angry MGTOW is projecting. No, I'm being rational and realistic, you 18-year-old little shit. Mark Hill says, not traumatized by hoes, just over the dumb shit. That's exactly it. You can be over it, be over them, but when you get to the point where you have to cross the road because there's a woman, or you can't go into a store and buy something because the cashier is a female, or you don't want to travel or go out because you don't want to be around women, you're losing out on the chance to experience different things in life. And also, I'll tell you guys something. You might hate me for saying this. I spent a lot of time jerking off. Lots and lots. Spent lots and lots of time jerking off. Many years jerking off. And I've said it. I've jerked off so hard, so many times, that I've ripped my foreskin and I started to bleed. All right? And it's like literally I could jerk off 10 times a day, and it's like it just never solves it just doesn't solve anything. And then I have pussy once or twice and I feel more relaxed. And I know you're going to say it's the lizard brain, but scientifically there's also a thing called the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is all the things that control breathing, blood pressure, and a bunch of different factors. Your brain can actually tell the difference between when you're jerking off and when you're having sex with a woman. There's a big difference between the two. There is. I'm not telling you that you should go out and start banging hookers left and right. But what I am saying is that scientifically, men and women are biologically made for each other. Do think about that carefully. I'm not saying that it's not that having a relationship with women doesn't come with so many perils these days. I'm not saying any of that stuff. But I am saying that I'm much happier fucking a pussy than I am using my hand. Even if I get more action from my hand, it's still a different experience. Rodson says 10 times a day. Yeah, 10 times a day. I've jerked off more than 10 times in a single day. I said it. I've jerked off until I've been bloody. What the fuck? Don't you guys understand? And I'm not alone. I know a bunch of other guys who've jerked off like 10 times a day. I've known tons of guys who've had the same thing. It's like it's a type of compulsive thing where you're looking to like get the endorphin mean high. So Bella Shepherd says, dude, you may not like what I'm saying to you right now, but I'm telling you this to help you. I'm not going to sugarcoat for you or anyone. I mean, again, drink angry. Please drink some Red Bull. I had an energy drink this morning. It's okay to be white. Says obviously pussy is better, but is it worth it? I will say this: it's up to every man to decide for himself. And one thing I will say is that I'm not running out to fuck around with narcissistic American women. I'm not in the States, and I would not chase a narcissistic American woman down. No way in hell. No way in hell will I. I'm done with American women. No way in hell. No way in hell will I have anything to do with an American woman. You can still get fucked over in the West, but you know what leads to a lot of guys getting fucked over? I Am Serious went to Indonesia. What did he do? He got married. Then he got fucked over. There's a lot of guys who go to these countries. They don't get married to the women. They fuck them. They give them some money. They have girlfriends, multiple girlfriends. When these women want to have children, when they want to get married, they fuck off and go find a man who wants to do that. Which is perfectly fine because by then they've usually hit the wall or they're about to hit the wall, and now you can get yourself you get yourself a new model. There you go. There you go. You just have to be practical about how you go about it. And you can relax. And you can have a better quality of life. You know, I look at Sabella Shepherd sitting in here saying that she's warning men. But Sabella, seriously, what the fuck are you warning men about? You're a woman just like the rest of them. You know, you have your own reasonables and your own rationality. You have your own despise for women. Just because you despise women and you see them as, being malicious, I think we're feeding into your narcissism to some degree. I've said it before that there are a lot of women who don't like other women. There are a lot of women who despise other women. They despise them. And they will literally say things and do things to destroy other women. To protect their own asses. Sabella Shepherd says he's not going to listen anyway. Psalm in 1839 says, "I'm confused. I love angry, but goddamn, he's sounding so cucked." You don't see me. I'm not sitting here saying I'm in love with women. I'm not sitting here saying you should learn to love them. I'm not sitting here saying that they are wonderful goddesses. I'm not saying here that they are trustworthy. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is that if you let hatred and fear of them control your life, you will not live a higher quality of life. Fearing and hating women is pointless. It gets us nowhere as MGTOW. Steve says it really well. Some people have such horrible experiences in life that they can't believe other people won't do the same to them. I'll tell you something funny. I had this really bad experience. Really, really bad experience. I've had very bad experiences with certain people. Certain people. And of certain races. And, I've had to, truly condition myself. It's like, I think Hulk Hogan said it best that everyone's a little racist. And I used to really dislike Mexican and blacks. I used to think that they were very lazy. I used to think that they were cheap. I used to think that they were not very good people, and I had very negative things to say about all of them. I thought they were pretty much all the same. As I got older, though, I began to realize that a lot of it is cultural and that there are decent people out there. I remember when I got fucked over and I didn't get to go to medical school at the time frame I wanted to because of something some dumb Mexican woman did. I began thinking all Mexican women are pieces of shit. But realistically, it was just that one Mexican woman. It was that one woman of Mexican descent. But because some wet Mexican woman fucked me over, I thought that all Mexican women are like that. Because some black people had fucked me over, I thought all black people were like that. It's really easy to say, and then you get fucked over by women in life, you start to say all women are like that. Do you see what I'm saying? And statistically, blacks are more likely to rob you, commit crimes, but it's not every single black person, and mostly it's associated with culture. Statistically, women are more likely to take advantage of a man in marriages, divorce him, and take a lot of his shit. But a lot of it has to do with culture. Not every single woman is like that. Although many of them are, and in this cultural climate, would you really take a risk and get mixed up with that? I don't blame any man who says that, you know what, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to get myself mixed up in this cultural climate because it's just too risky. I blame no man who says that. But what I do say is that do think about how hatred and fear can control your life and what you can do to move beyond that hatred and fear and overcoming that hatred and fear because it can control you and it doesn't hurt the other person. Hating women and fearing women doesn't hurt women typically, or it won't hurt them the way that it will hurt you. It hurts you the most. And I'm trying to sit here and appeal to MGTOW, but everyone's saying that I'm completely pussy whipped and that I've lost my anger, and I haven't abandoned you guys. And I don't lie to you guys either. I tell you about what's going on in my life. I'm transparent with you guys. How many other MGTOW, how many other YouTube content creators are honest with you? That tell you up front what they're thinking and what they're doing in their own personal lives. Many of them don't. They just come on here, they tell you guys what they want, what you want to hear so they can get their money. I'm on live stream right now, reading comments, looking at what you guys are saying, and responding to you guys. I'm not hiding. I could easily make Sandman videos all day long and get my money. I can make Sandman videos all day long and say, please leave a donation. And I can rant and rave and say what people want to hear and feed that specific red pill rage and get my money. But I don't. You know, since I started talking like this, I've been getting fewer donations, way fewer donations. I've been having men getting really angry at me. But at least I'm not a liar. How many guys do you think in MGTOW make these videos and they're fucking some woman on the side? Trust me, there's some MGTOWs out there that are doing that. There are some MGTOWs, there are some people who are making these videos and they're out there fucking some woman on the side. They probably, many of them, some of them probably even have girlfriends or living lovers. But I'm not full of shit. I'm honest and I'm real with you guys. And I tell you guys the truth. And another thing is I'm consistent. You're not going to find consistency with other MGTOW content creators. You want to say, well, you're not consistent with your message. My message is always evolving. I'm always changing. I pride myself on being open-minded. But I am consistent with my content, and I am always putting out regular content for you guys. It's okay to be white says, whether you provide red pill or not, the truth will still come out one way or another. That's absolutely right. The truth will come out one way or another. It really will. But a lot of men will still deny it. I don't. I tell you the truth. And I put it out there for you guys. I put it out there for you guys. Steve says, Angry MGTOW, I'm grateful for your honesty with us, brother. This is real talk, not preaching to the choir. Exactly. Sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to... You know what's funny? When I was putting out certain videos where I was just repeating some of the same stuff over and over and over and rehashing a lot of the anger, people said, Sandman says, I'm just repeating myself. A lot of MGTOW says, I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over. But then when I start opening up the way I think and start exploring different things and start trying something different and expanding my views and sharing those views, suddenly I'm a villain. Suddenly, and you know what? And I don't mind being a villain, but suddenly I'm I can't be trusted anymore because I'm no longer feeding the echo chamber vets. I'm no longer preaching to the choir because the choir only wants to hear what they want to hear. They want me to sing back exactly the same song they've been singing. Lena M says, Angry MGTOW needs a few weeks of vacation. You deserve it, man. Thanks. And hopefully I'll take a vacation really soon. Maybe in the next month I might take some time off. Blind Stiegel says, this is why I unsubbed from his channel days ago. Well, and yet here you are watching my video. Real Donald Duck says, Angry roaming millennial is talking shit about you behind your back. I don't care. And honestly, I haven't seen any proof of her talking shit about me behind my back. Anything that I've seen, any comments I've seen her say, any comments she's made about me, I saw a comment that she made about me on Twitter that where she said that she appreciated the conversation that I had with her. Okay? So until I actually see anything that she said where she's talking shit about me, it's just hearsay. It's absolutely hearsay. You can't say she's talking shit about me behind my back and then there's no proof whatsoever to say that. Just because you don't like her. Sabella Shepherd says, let me ask you a question, Angry MGTOW. If I were to sit here and start saying that men are all the evils of the world, that men were more violent, that men were monsters, how would you react? So Sabella's bringing up the things that ruling millennials said in the very first video about men being violent, men being more likely to do this, stuff along those lines. A lot of that is female propaganda. A lot of that is stuff that feminists have been poisoned with. And I definitely did not take the time to call her out on that. But I think that the way she presented it was essentially she was trying to look for a counter argument. But I don't think she necessarily meant to illustrate it in that way, but she was essentially trying to present those statistics to counteract the statistics I was throwing at her. And that's what happened in the first chat. For example, I projected anger and frustration, and she responded throwing whatever she could throw. That was that. Cleffa 168 says, I'm okay with Blonde in the belly of the beast, but I can't stand roaming. I've spoken to Blonde in the belly of the beast, and to be honest with you guys, she's actually a little perturbed by the MGTOW community because she said a lot of you guys went over and left nasty comments on her videos. So she's more hesitant to discuss MGTOW or even talk in a MGTOW space. So I have spoken to Blonde. I've exchanged a few messages with her on Twitter. Sabella Shepherd says that's the problem here. You didn't call her out on them, and you would have with anyone else, including me. Sabella, to be very honest with you, I wasn't I wasn't focusing too much on every single thing that was said. I definitely could have debated a lot better. I could have definitely taken points, but again, the second conversation I had with her was we weren't really it wasn't really a debate of sorts. It was just a conversation. We were going over different things, and we kind of I just let it flow naturally, as natural as possible. I wasn't looking for an argument, and I don't think that it would have produced anything. She made a lot of concessions, and if I had brought it up, she might have made a concession as well. That, about violence, we could have gone over those statistics. I don't see. I could have brought it up. Maybe I should have brought it up, but I don't think that it ultimately made a big difference. All right, and like I said, Sabella, she is roaming. I think that she's a little bit more timid than people expect. And if I had came at her at a position where I was attacking her, we would never have had such a productive conversation. I think that attacking her is like one of the worst things I could have done. I tried that; it did not work in the first place. Loudmouth Tyrone says, Angry MGTOW, I have a beard. Should I cut it off? No, bro, because beards are awesome. Okay, it's okay to be white. That says, Roaming tried to tie testosterone with violent tendencies to back up her claim that men are violent in nature. And that was absolute bullshit. And I think that I did try to counteract her argument that testosterone doesn't make men more violent, it actually makes men more calm. I think I actually did tell her that in the video. But it doesn't seem like no matter how much I counteract her arguments, anything will be enough for you guys, because you hate the fact that I would dare even have a conversation with a woman and give her the opportunity to speak. And it's funny because Sabella's saying that if I was dealing with her, I would have called her out and given her a much more thorough spanking. But because I'm smitten with roaming, I clearly didn't call her out. Guys, you have to understand psychology to some degree as well. Steve says, I wonder if Angry really has a beard. Yes, I have a beard. In fact, if you want to know what I look like, the silhouette that you guys see right there, that with the guy with the beard and the sunglasses, that's more or less what I look like right now. That's me. The beard, that's me. That's my face. If you guys really didn't know. Let me know what you think, if you agree that hating women gets men nowhere. And with that said, I want to remind you guys that you never have to miss another video again on Angry MGTOW by going to my YouTube home, by going to any video and clicking on the little notification button very next to the subscribe button on any video. When you click on the notification button, you'll get a pop-up that says send me all notifications for this channel. Just make sure the box is checked, hit save. If you've done it already, you don't have to do it again, and by doing this you will never miss another video or live stream. You'll always get a notification whenever I'm live streaming or whenever I put out a new video. And if you get unsubscribed, you'll still get notifications. So if you subscribe but you're not getting notifications, or if you find yourself getting unsubscribed, if you make sure to sign up for notifications, this will prevent you from ever missing another video, even if the unsubscribe bug gets you. So definitely always make sure you have notifications enabled. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree that hating and fearing women gets men nowhere. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers.